This video isn't edited, there's no background music, and I'm not here to sell you some indicator-based strategy. I made just over $10,000 this week alone using simple price action combined with this one concept that I'm about to show you. Now, the concept I'm talking about is price action mirrors. It's a simple yet effective way to understand and predict where the market is going to go without having to use overcomplicated systems like FVGs, breaker blocks, etc. So if you're someone who trades but struggles with overcomplication, lack of confidence, or just a general inability to read price action, this video might be the only video you need to become profitable going forward. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how price action mirrors work, how you can implement them into your trading, and then show you exactly how I used them this week to make over $10,000. But without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into the charts. So before I show you exactly how it works, I want to show you just the pure power of this actual setup. You can see right here, I sent to my group a screenshot telling them to look at the mirrors. And this screenshot here shows you exactly what I'm about to explain. 4 price action mirrors with one that hadn't played out yet. And then look at the next screenshot that I sent just half an hour later, and we'd already started to retrace that move and push back to the upside. So what is a price action mirror? Well, it's actually going to allow us to read the charts and predict a specific move off of past market data and completely simplify the process of catching rejections and essentially figuring out where the market wants to move before it actually does it. Now, how does this actually work? All we have to actually do is use previous market moves and identify patterns in order to give us a very high chance of predicting what is going to happen next. So right here, I have a gold chart open, and essentially all I'm going to do here is mark up a few mirrors, and before I'm even finished, I guarantee you're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about. First of all, I'm going to look at this key level down here, which we've rejected off multiple times in the past. Then I'm going to look at where we pushed up from in order to do that, which was around here. And now I'm actually going to identify the mirrors. So the first mirror that we have here, if you look on price, is you can quite clearly see when we start from around this area here and make a push to the downside, you can see that we tapped into the level that I previously discussed right here. Now I'm going to mark this level with a strong box right here, and then the hollow boxes are going to be used to show the mirror. So as you can see, what we've done here is push down into this zone, starting from all the way at the top here, and then you've immediately had some form of a reaction. You can see here we reject and we actually start to push up towards this area here at 3,300. And then what happens next? Well, after that, once we reject off of 3,300, we need to see a closure above. And the moment we do, we see a very extended move to the upside. So you can see here the push down in red, the consolidation and the reaction in purple, and then the yellow push up to the upside afterwards. And you might be thinking, Sam, that's just one instance of this happening. Surely that doesn't repeat. But you're actually wrong. Let me show you. So as you can see, using the same color system right here, I'm going to wait again until we have another push down. And as you can see, we have the exact same push down over here. And then what happens next? Well, you have the same purple consolidation around the same level right here and rejecting up where? Same exact level, 3,300. And once you close above it, what happens? We have that extended push to the upside. And the funny thing is, immediately the same thing happens again. The moment you start to push back down from this area one more time, you have the same sort of consolidation playing. And then again, the moment we close back above that 3,300 level, you have your extended push. So now, as we can see this pattern forming, all we have to do in order to take advantage is wait for the same thing to play out. And guess what had happened? We'd had our push to the upside, and you can see essentially this mirror was then completely respected, and it played out pretty much in full with that move back up to the upside. And actually, if we take the boxes away for a second, all you need to see here is that once you do actually start to reject and make a closure back above this level, as you can see, you break, you retest, and you continue up. You break, you retest, and you continue up, and you break, you retest, and you continue up. Now, on Thursday, I took a position right over here based off of the exact same logic. So as you can see here, I actually sent the exact mirrors we've just been talking about into my group at 1:14 p.m. yesterday. And look what happened. This was before any of this had played out at 1:14 p.m. So this Thursday, I actually took a position that made me $3,000 based off of the exact same principle. So as you can see, I'm going to use the same color boxes again. We have our red push down here. Then you start to see that reaction in purple like I showed you earlier. And then what happens? You have your closure back above the level, a small retest, and that yellow extended push up. So now if I really zoom in here and we actually mark these out as just levels, what do you actually need to see? Like I said, you need that push down. Once you close back above this level here at 32.80, you've essentially established that we are still following this price action mirror. So all I waited for was a closure on the 15-minute above all of these levels. Waited for a bottom wick. Once that candle flipped, guess what? Now I'm taking advantage of this yellow area right here in order to take my buys to the upside. Now this might seem a little bit complicated, but essentially price action mirrors can be extremely simple once you start to understand patterns and actually understand that the market likes to repeat previous cycles and previous structure. So how do you actually start to identify price action mirrors? Well, it's extremely simple and it's all based off of pattern recognition. So what I'm going to do here is a little homework task for you. I'm going to leave you on this screen right here and I want you to see if you can identify any price action mirrors. So pause the video right now, see if you can figure it out, and in about 2 seconds, I'm going to explain to you exactly where they are. And in this scenario, I want to make it extremely clear to you that you don't need to be as complicated as I was before showing you the 3-step process. This one is as simple as look at this area here to the left. What happens when we start to make a push downwards and you actually start to tap into specific levels? Well, you can see that we came down right towards this level here and made a very strong rejection, followed by a small retracement after a push, and then you made that continued push up, essentially forming market structure. Now, if we mark that out as one of our mirrors, let's just make it this push here. You can also see that we actually initiated this push from around 33.50. Now, what can you see here to the right where we actually start a push from 33.50? Oh, you can see the exact same thing forming right here. You can see we push down and then actually tap into the exact same level as we did before, as you can see right here. And the moment we did that, what do? We have the exact same market structure forming. So you push down, push back up, lower high, continuation to the upside. And obviously in this scenario, you didn't actually run all the way up like you did previously, but that is enough for you to actually take advantage of that move and take your profit, because essentially now all you need to understand is we're going to wait for a tap into this level, wait for a higher low to be formed. Once that higher low is formed, i.e. in this example here and this example here, we're very clean to take our buys upwards. And by the time that you've got in this position, in this scenario, you've ridden it up to here, which is still a massive move. So essentially this is allowing you to take advantage of previous price action and completely simplify the process of finding levels and finding essentially rejection and liquidity areas. Because that's all these mirrors are. You may think I'm just talking about patterns or structure or whatever it is, but actually these levels are reacting the exact same because they're following and bouncing off of and filling the exact same liquidity areas and structural levels. So essentially all I've done here is oversimplified it to the point where you can actually understand it and trade it with ease. But those liquidity levels and those structural levels and market structure is all present. It's just so that you don't have to actually be so confused in your head thinking about FVGs, break of structures, liquidity levels, all of this stuff all in one. If you see a price action mirror and price actually starts to obey that, and then you combine it with your confluences such as closures above, breakouts, support and resistance areas, that is a very, very strong confluence for you to actually take a position and be very, very accurate with it. So how do you take advantage of this? Obviously, in hindsight, it's extremely easy for me to see this and show you, and also for you to see it, but how can you actually take advantage? Well, the way that I do this is I break the mirror down into steps as I showed you previously. So step 1 right here in red is that we have our move downwards. Now the move downwards needs to start from a similar area. So you see we have around an area here of 33.40, something like that. And that is step 1. Now step 2 down here is we have our rejection and consolidation. Okay, now all you need to see is that rejection happening and a little bit of consolidation, and you know that you're following the mirror. And step 3 is waiting for that closure above and seeing a continuation upwards. So now we had that happening. All we needed to see was those 3 things: closure and drive, those 3 things playing out. And the moment you see that happening, you know you're in business. So on Thursday, when I sent this to my Discord group, as I showed you earlier, all you can see right here is essentially before I sent it in, we were in step number 1. So we had the push down, We hadn't yet had the consolidation over here, as you can see, and we actually needed that closure back above 32.85 in order to take our buys. So I'm going to show you in real time how I saw this. So obviously now we have step one, okay? We've played out the push down very, very nicely. Now we need to wait for step two, which is our closure above. So when you're obviously watching this on the markets, it's going to be playing out in live time. We'll skip forward a little bit on replay mode. And suddenly you have this closure above, which is perfect. Now, the moment you have this closure above, now you know you're in step three, which is your closure and drive step, okay? So once you understand that, all you need to do is essentially wait for that closure, wait for a little retest as we saw earlier, and then you can take your buys. And for me, it looks a little something like this. We waited for that closure, stops were below this level here, and we waited for that continuation upwards. And then obviously you can see it played out very, very nicely. So now you've seen it, the one confluence that actually allowed me to print $10,000 this week following market structure and using a simple price action mirror strategy. But you learning this one thing alone isn't going to completely change your trading. So if you are serious about leveling up in your trading and becoming profitable, apply for my one-on-one mentorship down below, where I'll teach you this concept along with thousands of others that you can actually intertwine with each other to become a seasoned and profitable trader and act like a machine within the market. Now, it's only for serious traders, but if you are interested and want to apply, click that link down below in the description to see if you're a good fit. And hopefully we can change your trading forever.